Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Drew, are you there, mate? Where are you?
So, hang on, just... there we go. Sorry, I dropped my glasses. Are you all right? What's the matter, matey?
Nothing's
the matter. You think I deserted you?
Well, I was just checking you were there.
Yeah, I'm all right. I mean, I'm here. I mean, are you missing me already? Then are you?
Well, because I actually got to see you in the flesh yesterday. I know that's come out entirely.
No. That's
not what I mean at all. I got to see you in person yesterday.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
No, I'm not missing you, mate. I was just checking you were there. But hello,
checking I hadn't disappeared and slipped through the... Well, I know. Well, we didn't actually get that long to chat yesterday, did we?
We were quite immersed to play on what we were doing. Bit of immersive.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I know. I should be a performer or something. But anyway, I didn't really get to chat to you all that much yesterday. So how have you been? How's your week been?
I've had a good week. I've finally, and I know I've got to answer this question because I know your granddad wants to know. I did finally buy a car. I bought
for anyone that's a bit confused by that, Drew said to me, do any of your family listen? Just on a random sort of question. I was like, do you know what? It's really weird. My granddad phoned me and we were having a chat. And he happened to mention the podcast because he does listen all the time. And he asked me, has Drew found a car yet? So we talk all about all different areas of the industry and things. And we go into depth and stuff. And the one thing that he asked me about the podcast was, has Drew bought a new car? So there you go.
Well, in answer to his question, yes, I bought myself a lovely Nissan Note. I'm very pleased with it. And I've been sailing around in it all week with a big smile on my face. So, yeah. And so apart from running that in, what else have I been doing? Oh, I did. I finished I think I said I was going to do the reading list for the listening book. So that was submitted this week and they're happy with that. So that's great. I had a casting for an advert, which sadly I found out a couple of days ago I didn't get. But it was good though to be in the mix. That's all one can say. And of course, I had the absolute pleasure of working with your good self.
Oh wow! Highlight of your week, mate. Surely
top my week off. That was top part of the week. Yeah, and here we are again.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So come on, then. I mean, and we honestly we were rushed off our feet yesterday. It was a lovely show. But I mean, your week has been. What have you been up to?
Less. I was going to say extravagant. That's absolutely not the word I mean at all.
I don't do extravagant.
Less busy than yours. I didn't have a car to find. But no, so I was back in a theatre on Tuesday, I think it was, reviewing. So I haven't done a review for a while. And I got to go and see the amazing Heathers, the musical, which is fantastic. This tour is really, really great. So if anyone out there fancies it and it's near you, I would highly recommend it. I was in Milton Keynes and their run has now finished, I believe. I think it was only there for a week. But yeah, it's the new touring production and it is superb. So if anyone
great film. I really enjoyed the film.
I've never seen the film, which I think probably helped me enjoy the musical even more because it was brand new and I was seeing it fresh. But I'm sure big fans of the original film will also love the musical. So yeah, go check it out. Aside from that, mate, not a great deal. Lots of prep for Panto, lots of prep for the musical. And I've got some other stuff coming up, which I've been sort of getting ready for. And then, of course, our outing yesterday, our venture out into the wider world to do a bit more immersive. I say, is it immersive? Dinner theatre.
Right?
Yeah, it's the best way. But I mean, it was great. As you say, it was a really, really lovely show, and we had a fantastic time. But it wasn't without its hints of sadness, I have to say.
Oh.
Well, dare we explain? But that was our last show together this year. Now, obviously, we get to see each other every week through the method of technology on Zoom and doing these podcasts, and we speak on the phone and whatever else. But that was our last in-person outing of 2021. So as much as I had a great show, like I say, it wasn't without its sort of minor negative side, because I had to say farewell to my dear pal for the year. But I know that come the new year, we'll have a lot more work together. So there are positives and negatives, and you have to look at it both sides, I guess. But I suppose it's one of the most interesting elements of what we do, in that you don't often have friendships like ours, where you meet someone doing a job and then you get to see them a lot more, and then something sort of develops. It's sounding very romantic now. It's not how I'm trying to make it.
Yes,
essentially,
I didn't know I meant that much to you.
No, but anyway, essentially what I'm trying to say is that it's quite unusual within our industry to work with someone on a regular basis. You quite often have intensive periods where you might be doing a show with a group of people which runs for a few months, and you literally see them all the time, but then that'll come to the end, and you tend to find, I mean, feel free to correct me if you've feel differently, but I often find that I will meet people, work with them, strike up a friendship, but then the nature of the business means that as much as you try and keep in contact and want friendships to prolong, it's very, very difficult, because you're so often all over the place.
I think you make a good point, mate. I mean, like you say, you're often thrown into a situation where we've touched on this in the past when we've been talking, but you have to get on very quickly, and if it's a tour or you're away from home, you develop that kind of camaraderie and for the sake of the production and the work, but also for the sake of your sanity, that you're away from home, you're missing loved ones or family or whoever, and you need the friendship of people around you to make you feel better. I mean, I've been kicking around this business for a little bit, but I still, when I go away, I still get a little bit homesick. I still sometimes think I'm grateful to be doing the job. I'm loving the job, but it'd be really nice if I was going home tonight, which I start the panto in a couple of weeks' time, but and this year I'm able to commute, so I'm really looking forward to and meeting some people that I've met before and worked with before, and so it's a double-edged sword. I'm really looking forward to doing the panto, and I actually get to go home but that has not always been the case in the past. I have had I've met old mates that I work with, strange enough to call them friends, but I only see them once a year when we're in panto.
Yeah,
but they are good friends, and there's a shorthand between us that helps the work and helps us have those sort of work conversations. But they're also good, mate, and they also 200 miles away from home, and they're softening the blow a little bit. But it is, I think you make a really good point. I mean, we're lucky that actually it was interesting what you said. It was our last face-to-face in the flesh meeting this year, but we worked together quite a lot, and we sort of saw each other once a month, 2 or 3 times a month doing shows. But then we got, the uninvited guest knocked on the door, and we were shoved into, we were all shoved into lockdown, and our friendship and understanding and it's blossomed doing the podcast, but actually by separation. And that's an interesting way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
absence makes the heart grow.
I was going to say it's lucky that I've not been drinking, because I'm not sure I would have worked that one out in my head. I think that's very confusing that we've developed a closer friendship by not being close and stuff. But speaking of, we've jumped, mate. I forgot to ask: Are you poured and?
Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah,
fantastic.
The amber nectar's in the glass. So here's the friendship.
Well, indeed, here's the friendship. Cheers, everyone. But no, it is one of those weird kind of scenarios, as you say, where because of the uninvited guest, we we did sort of develop a friendship further, potentially. Not to say that we weren't close anyway, because as you say, we did work together quite a lot beforehand. We're still working together quite a lot now. It's this time of year in particular where it's quite difficult. As you say, Panto tends to mean you're away from home. Not always. You're very lucky this year that you have been able to land one where you're commuting. I'm not. I'm away and staying away in a hotel. So I will, well, I certainly hope so. I'm sure I will create new friendships with the people I'm working with who are also more than likely to be away from home. So they will be my support group, or those people that I see a lot, and that'd be great. But I mean, also really, really looking forward to those few off moments, the odd days where I can travel home, where there's a day off here or an evening off there or whatever, where I can go back, see my family, my partner, and make sure that those really important relationships are still being kept at the utmost importance, if that makes sense. And you do get homesick. I think you say you've been in the industry forever and you still get it out. I don't think that will ever leave. I think we're very lucky to do a job that we absolutely adore, and every day is a joy to go to work. But doesn't mean that we find it any less difficult to be away from loved ones. So it's, and you don't necessarily have that guarantee always of people being there at the job you're doing, or on set, or at the theatre, or whatever. You can never always guarantee that you're going to have that close support network or develop friendships that will not last. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I believe, and I've done, I know you've been in the industry forever, and although you've done other little bits and pieces, have never really done a normal person job to a heavy extent.
Not for any length of time, no, but I know what you're saying, yeah.
Whereas I did a good few years of either shift work or 9 to 5ing, where you have this almost second family, your work family, where you're in this routine where you can almost guarantee that every day, 5 days a week or whatever, you will be seeing the same people for the same period of time. You get to know them very well, and you can almost rely on that regularity. Obviously, people come and go, things change, and you might move to a new job, but certainly our industry is not normal or not familiar in that same way. And I think it does make it a challenge. I think it, as well as making it a very interesting world to be part of.
I think it's, I mean, I you know, when you say you've got that sort of 9 to 5 regularity, there's almost a predictability that allows, when I say allows time, it's the wrong word, but allows you to make friends, allows you to be able to say, we'll see each other next weekend, or, you know, let's take a couple of days and go on holiday, or whatever one does, you know, or say, you know, we'll just go out for dinner or whatever. Well, I think, I mean, like you say, I love what I do, and I love the unpredictability. It makes it exciting, but it does mean that there isn't room for or there is room for my friends and friends that I have outside the business. I cherish them, but they also know that, you know, they'll ring me up and say, oh, so-and-so celebrating a birthday. Are you able to come? Is it, you know, are you away? Are you working? They always sort of preface it with, you know, you are invited, but we understand that, you know, so, you know, there are times that you just go, oh no, I'm doing so-and-so. And they go, that's okay, mate. Don't worry. You know, we know you've got to work, because that's the other thing. We have to work, you know, you know, you have to take the work when it comes up. Yeah. And any friends, and I do have friends outside the business. I've got lots of friends outside the business. I don't see them as often as I would wish because of the unpredictability, but they know that, you know, and like you say, you make work friends. I mean, not all my friends are, you know, are actors, performers, or in the industry, but a lot of them are, because I think we all understand the situation.
Yeah.
And no one is offended. You know, I mean, so many. I mean, I got married on a Sunday because, you know, I knew most of my mates probably wouldn't be working, because at that time, you know, it wasn't so regular that theatres were performing on Sundays. Now, of course, we know we do.
Yeah.
But you know, it was more likely that any friends of mine that were working were going to be free on a Sunday. And in fact, I was in the middle of a tour. I was on the last leg of a tour, and I got married on a Sunday because it was my day off in the middle of the tour. So literally, you know, and everyone went, well, that's fine, yeah, you know. So I had the day off and got married, and then went back on tour, you know, a couple of days later, which was hysterical. But you know, but I mean, you do make friends very quickly in the job, and I'm lucky to say, like yourself, you know, I've made some friends that I've known for 20 odd years, you know, longer, that I've worked with, and I still see them, and we crop up on jobs occasionally, but I know that they are good friends, you know, because I may have worked with some of them quite solidly for a decent length of time, or I've worked with them, you know, just occasionally, do a job, maybe go back and do a summer season or something with someone, and you see them, and it's like a family. They're mates, and they will always be there. And I know there was a couple of people I haven't seen for a while because of, you know, circumstances, but also people I haven't worked with for a while. But I know that if I pick the phone up, they'll be like, yeah, don't worry, mate, I'll be there.
Yeah, for
whatever reason. And maybe it's the nature of the business, as we were saying. It's unpredictable, it's tough, so we all understand the sacrifices that are made. So if you do make a friend, they know that is a very special friendship because of the difficulties of maintaining it. Sounds a bit sort of, you know.
No, it makes a lot of sense, mate, and I think it's quite entertaining, because I think those in the know and those in the industry are very aware that these things called weekends, bank holidays, evenings, we don't really have any of those. We have work and time where we're not working, and that kind of sits in those are the two different elements. And it doesn't matter if it's Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday at 1 a.m. We could be working at any point. And as you say, others in the industry very much understand that. And I think true friends or friends that are meant to stay outside the industry also very much get that. And as I said, I mean, partners make huge sacrifices to make things work, and families are hugely supportive and things like that. So there is this understanding that we're not normal. We're very much abnormal in what we do, where we are, when we're available. That said, it's quite nice every now and then thinking, do you know what, I need to go to the bank, or I need to go and do this, and thinking, well, it's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, so I know it's going to be fairly quiet because every normal person out there is at work. So it's quieter out in the shopping centres or whatever, or you're more likely to be able to get through on a phone line at some of the hours that we're available, rather than everyone thinking, oh God, I've got to get home from work at 5:30 and try and call this business before they shut at 6 or whatever. So there are, of course, benefits to the randomness of it, but certainly friendships and relationships and the social side of the industry is very, very different and quite hard to maintain at times. And I mean, we've been very lucky. We've developed this friendship through working together regularly. We then started the podcast. We meet up regularly outside of work as well. But again, I mean, we've had plans over the last couple of weeks which have had to change, had to cancel, because fortunately, and it is fortunately, it sounds negative, but it's not, that work has come up. Because right now we're so busy with things. And the same being for the Panto period, where we won't have an opportunity to see each other. We'll be lucky enough that we'll get to speak, and other examples will be making phone calls to people, friends who you won't get to see because you're away for a month or longer. But it is still quite hard thinking that, well, this is my good friend and I won't have a chance to see him for a while. So it's I guess it's a side that people are aware of, but perhaps don't always appreciate the intensity of that side of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's excuse me, it's, I think if you know, good friends will understand, And they'll be pleased for you. They'll be pleased that one is working. But it's funny because I think social media, we can't really not do this without sort of saying literally friends on Facebook. But I mean, I have friends that it's great. I mean, Facebook is very useful. And other social medias are very useful because you can just go, how are you? You all right? Yeah, I'm doing this. You're doing this. Blah. But I know there's a group of friends now that I communicate with a lot more because of via social media. But I also know that I kept that there's a network of. I mean, I met a load of people. Become very, very. When I was very young, I was at Luton Youth Drama Workshop, a drama workshop for young people in Luton. There we go. And I joined that when I
came up with that name, mate.
I don't know. It was a heavy afternoon coming up with that name, but I joined when I was around about 13. Was it younger? No, it was about 12, 13. And I know people from that now, right the way through. I've still kept friends. It is easier now. I remember one night I went to see some friends of mine who were working, so they had to give their tickets away to a concert. It was to see Pink Floyd at Earl's Court, which is no longer there. And I went to see with Verona. And in the middle of this vast arena, I bumped into a mate of mine that I hadn't seen for about 20 years. And we'd been at this drama group together when we were 14, 15. And we had bumped into each other. And then we kept in contact. And then, social media crops up and it's been easier. And I've been watching he's been on safari and, the Masai Mara for 2 weeks holiday. And I've just been looking at his photographs every day going, A, jealous, and B, what a great thing. Yeah. So they were, they're friends of, over 30 years, over 35 years, 40 years. And they will always be there. And we don't see each other very often. And occasionally you get the, it's so-and-so's wedding or so-and-so's birthday. Do you want to come? And you go, oh, guess what? I'm working. They're going, great. Because some of them, most of them didn't go into the business, but they still understand. And they still got that friendship, which is that supportiveness. And it's good to know that they're not in the business. It's good to know that not all my friendships are with people I work with, Oh,
yeah.
Because there's that other thing of like using one's friends to keep working, for work purposes. I know a couple of my friends have either given me jobs or have put me onto jobs, and I've done the same for them, Yeah. But that's an awkward one, because like friendship and nepotism.
Sometimes you don't know, like this is a person I've worked with before. I really, really got on with them, but we haven't spoken much over the past months, years, whatever. But they are now doing something that I know I could be a good part of. Is it wrong to reach out and go, hello, remember me? I'd be bloody perfect for that. But I think as much as there is that reluctance in your mind going, am I taking the piss here? I think everyone that's working in this kind of area knows that we all get by with connections as well. And it's a famous phrase, isn't it? It's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think that is even more relevant in what we do, because there's absolutely times where I've made a connection on set or during a show, and that person has given me a call and gone, do you know what? There's this thing I think you'd be great at. And it's been hugely beneficial. And there's no expectation that people are going to help you out and you're always going to get by people like doing the work for you, so to speak. But there's nothing wrong with it at the same time when you call in a favor or someone else does the same, or you spot something and a connection helps you lead to something bigger, better, whatever. But it is very prevalent. There's a lot of it in the industry because it's quite and forgive the use of the word, it's quite an incestuous industry, because there's always someone who knows someone who knows someone. There are always connections. Like everyone you work with will have worked with someone else you've worked with at some point through some connection or whatever.
Yeah.
And because of that, those sort of, I don't know what the best way to do it, not handouts, but those helping hands, that's probably the better, those little moments where someone goes, do you know what? I think you'd be great at this. Or even the opposite. Like as you know, I'm touring in the new year with an educational show. And one of the guys who we did some previews through Zoom to create this show and develop the show. And one of the guys that I work with on that sadly can't do the tour because he's got other things that he's committed to. So the production company have just gone through the casting process to replace him. And I recommended 2 people that I'd worked with before just for that and sent the details over to them. Now, there's no guarantee they were going to get it, but there's also quite a high likelihood that they might not have seen this opportunity because of location or because of logistics or whatever. It might not have been on their radar. But I know for a fact that one of them got shortlisted, and the other, I think, applied as well. So I gained nothing necessarily from doing that personally, but at the same time, I know that I might have helped someone out. And also, I guess there is a little bit of selfishness in there because I've worked with these people before, know how good they are. And by putting them onto this, I might end up working with them again. And I know that I'd enjoy that. So I guess maybe that is a benefit to me.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing better than working with your friends. And as I said before, is that there is that shorthand as well. There's a whole, sort of 24, 48 hours you don't have to go through getting used to someone, talking to them, finding out all about them. It's there and you go, hello, mate, lovely to see you again. Boom, away you go. And that's always helpful I think directors, producers, they will employ their friends and people they worked with before for that reason. But I mean, there's nothing better than working with a mate, and we have great fun, working together because, it's just nice to work with your mates,
Yeah, and even those very, very rare occasions where you turn up to do something and you have no idea about the casting or who else is involved, and then someone that you haven't seen for ages but had a great relationship with or worked with on something that you really cherish happens to be there, and you're like, no way, like I didn't know you were on this. Yeah, I didn't. And it's just that there are those wonderful gems, those moments where all of a sudden everything's just like, wow, what a small world, but what a brilliant world we were.
It happened to me. I was doing a production of King Lear a long while ago, fringe production, and we were sitting doing the read through, and guy walked in the door, and I just went, and it was my days from the youth theatres, and he was in one youth theatre and I was in the other youth theatre company, and there was a little bit of friendly rivalry between the two, and and he was there at one point. He was their sort of leading man, and I was my company's leading man. And then we both went to drama school, did different things, and never really saw each other. And we were friendly. There was friendly rivalry. But into this rehearsal room walked this guy, and he looked across, and I looked across, and it was like, we haven't seen each other for 20 years. This is amazing. But also, we were playing brothers, and the brothers, Edmund and Edgar in King Lear, the fighting siblings. And that brought a real excitement to it. And we were almost, during the rehearsals, we were almost inseparable. We were side by side all the time, chatting, working in this relationship. Obviously not during the actual play itself, but it became and again, it became a lot. It picked up a friendship that sparked when we were kids. And now we're blokes in our 30s, and we're sort of like, okay, totally different relationship, but forged years ago. And it was a really easy conversation. It was as if it was yesterday that I'd last seen him. It was fabulous. So, and it was still there. We're still in contact now. And, it's so, yeah. So it was one of those moments you think, that's, but I mean, it is. I mean, I often look on social media and you go, how on earth do you know him? how can you possibly know that person? And you know, I quite often ring people or text people and go, how do you know so and so? I said, oh, we did a show together. I go, but I work with you. Just, you know, and you often find, which is nice on social media, that actually people do properly know each other rather than just becoming, you know, friends on, you know, on the Book of Face or whatever. Yeah. But the other thing that interests me about friendships and long-term friendships and working friendships is the double act thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you get very famous double acts, and I don't know the ins and outs of double acts, but you do hear stories of, and this is no double act in particular, but you do hear stories like they work together for donkey's years, they live in another, but offset away from work, have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Yeah,
absolutely nothing. You know,
well, they're not all the double acts out there are the Ant and Dex who buy houses next door or opposite on the same street or whatever. So
yeah,
but yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and I think. I guess there is an element of, as you said earlier, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So perhaps working with people and having those on and off times is great and develops it. But no, as you say, there is very little that puts a smile on my face more than walking into a rehearsal room and seeing someone I haven't seen for ages or someone that I know is a brilliant performer and I've had a great time performing with before, which is why I still tune in each week, mate, to speak to you, to put a smile on your face.
I mean, it's great. It's lovely. I mean, and you know, there's no contract. We don't have to do this. We turn up and have a little beer, and you know, with me, mate. You know, lovely stuff.
Absolutely. Really. And I'll tell you what, mate. We'll have another drink to that one. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
But as always, I might have spotted a small segue because we're talking about putting a smile on your face, seeing people that are familiar that you've worked with before. I reckon that something that goes beyond the smile on your face from meeting an old friend would be the smile that you might gain if you won a competition.
Oh, I see where you're going.
I believe, Drew, that it's about time that we found a winner for our competition to win tickets to the amazing brand new musical, The Truth Stops Here. Now, anyone that's been listening this season will know that we spoke to Anthony and Emma, two of the creatives from The Truth Stops Here. Was it 3 weeks ago? I think it might be.
Yeah, just 3 weeks ago.
And they have very kindly given 4 tickets for the show to be won. And we had a fair few entries. Thank you for everyone that did get involved. But I think without further ado, Drew, it's probably time that we got a winner or announced a winner. And there's a way that we're going to do this. Normally, I'd hand over to Drew at this point and he'd be hunting through the internet or would have found some weird and wonderful way to draw our winning name. But we're going to do things a little bit differently this time. So what we're going to do is go direct to the Truth Stops Here HQ and find out who the lucky winner is.
Hi everyone, and thank you very much for entering the competition to win this amazing prize of 4 tickets to The Truth Stops Here. And thank you very much to Sam and Drew for hosting this competition. Tickets are selling really well, but obviously do encourage your friends to come along. Anyway, here is one journalist's hat, and inside are all the entries, and so I'm going to pick one out now at random, and the lucky winner of 4 free tickets to The Truth Stops Here is Kirsty Richardson 87. So well done to you. Hope to see you at the show. Let Sam know which night you want to come along. Bye.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. And many, many congratulations to our winner. Just get in touch.
Yes, all you need to do is ping us an email, drewlingsamantics@gmail.com. The email address should be floating around somewhere up here right now. Ping us that email, letting us know your details, and we'll make sure that we get everything sorted and get those tickets over to you. So congratulations once again to our lucky winner. And Drew, do you know what, mate? What a lovely way to finish the show. I think this is the perfect climax to a wonderful chat about friendships and building connections and relationships. I think it's rather nice, don't you?
Oh, I think it's lovely. And you know, there we got the Truth Stops Here that have become friends of Drewling Samantics
Yes.
via work and connections, but we're now connected and we're friends. So it's a really nice way to end the show. Great stuff.
Absolutely. But before we go, what have you got coming up, mate? Because now I'm not going to see you because that's it. I mean, we're still chat, but what have you got before the highlight of your next week, which will be seeing me at the weekend?
No, I'm rattling through towards pre-production on the Panto, and I've got another immersive or dinner show coming up, which is a new script. So I'm going to have to learn a new script. So it's actually just line learning, really. The sort of engine room of work. So I've just got to sit down, head down, and learn lines. I had the designs for the pantomime come through, so I've seen what sets I'm working with and some of the props and that. So that's really exciting. And I've emailed my cast, so I should be waiting for their emails to come back and with their suggestions, queries, and problems. But that's just, the load that lands on the shoulders of a director, mate. What can I tell you?
Hard life, isn't it? Tough.
I'm looking forward.
Tough being at
Tough
the top.
life. It's got to be done. Yeah. So what you doing in this?
I've got a little bit of filming next week.
Oh, good.
A little bit of sort of promotional, a film that I've been cast in that production was sort of halted due to the unwelcome guest over the last couple of years. To build it back up and to do a bit of promo for it, they're sort of doing a few preview short episode kind of things to lead up to this feature film, which is quite cool. So we've got filming for that coming up next week. And like you, I'm also back to the immersive dinner theatre, got a couple of those to finish off my year, basically the last couple of outings as some of my favourite characters that I get to play before making the trip off to Panto Land. So a bit of line landing in there, exactly the same as you.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's busy, it's manic. There's so much going on, but I would not have it any other way. It's just, I just love it, mate. This is the busiest time of year for us, but also I think potentially the most rewarding because we just get to do what we love 24/7 almost, which is love it. And
of course, chance to make new friends.
Well, exactly.
What better?
And the facility to have old friends, and I'm not just talking about you being ancient, friends and family and loved ones being able to come and see you do what you love doing best. I know my partner's coming and my family are coming to see Panto and hopefully the musical as well. So really excited for the opportunity to show off and kind of go, this is what I do. I love doing this, but maybe you can understand why.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But
good one,
note, mate. On that note, I think I shall raise a glass and we will say cheers. And
cheers.
Thank you for an incredible year of in-person shows, mate. I'm looking forward to our last few podcasts of the year. We've got a few more to come yet before we call 2021 quits. But no, very much looking forward to what we got to come. And another guest next week. Almost forgot to mention.
Crikey, forgot to guess another lovely guest. Yes.
So people at home watching online or listening to us or wherever you happen to be, make sure you tune in next time for Drew, myself, and a special guest. See you then. Cheers.
Take care, Sam. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks again for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
If you have, then please consider subscribing to our channel and you'll get notified every time a new video is released. Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app.
Please support us on other social media too. We're on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and all our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so please share with your family and friends and we'll be eternally grateful. Stay safe and we'll see you next time.